Sorry, just a few technical difficulties at the moment. Let me get this sorted. I'm still kind of new to the live streaming thing. Is that working? Sorry, just a few technical difficulties at the moment. Let me get this sorted. Still kind of new to the live streaming thing. Sorry about this. It was set up before, and no, it isn't. But I should hopefully be the audio set up correctly. And hopefully, with any luck. Sorry about this. It was set up before, and no, it isn't. But should hopefully be the audio set up correctly. That should hopefully be me live if everything has gone to plan. I'm not entirely sure if it has, but fingers crossed. I've got about three different monitors going on, so things are a little complicated to say the least. But welcome to the live stream for my Planet Coaster Team Water special, hoping to raise money and awareness for the YouTube Team Water campaign, which is raising money to bring clean, safe water to millions of people. A very noble cause, I believe. Uh, Owen Coasters said hi. Hi, Owen Coasters. I'm streaming, I think, at the moment to both the vertical side and the normal side as well, which is proving slightly more complicated than I thought. I have three monitors in front of me and my phone. But yes, let's start building some fun stuff for Planet Coaster. And I think probably the best thing we start out with is, of course, going to be a water coaster in the Mark style. Or we could go Intamin. Hmm, Intamin or Mark. I think it's classic. Let's go with the Mark style. I've used this baseline version of the map from Planet Coaster because I thought it could give an interesting bit with multiple levels. Let me know if everything's looking and sounding okay. I'm trying to have multiple screens going at once. And I'm not entirely sure it's working, but I'll give it a go. I probably should start off just by streaming like one thing at once, but hey, why complicate things? I will switch between windows every now and again just to make sure on the side that I'm doing this right. But anyway, yes, let's get on to building a water coaster. And I think we're going to have it starting up top here and diving down to the bottom bit. You just need to find the space for it. And I think that could work just about okay. We may struggle with a little bit of an overhang. We don't want too many ugly supports. I think that could work if we remove the trees. I think it'd be kind of cool if we start off straight away by having a drop right at the station. And we can hopefully bank underneath this water slide as well. I think that could be quite an interesting start to the coaster. Let's add a little bit of heart lining. A lot of the things I do in Planet Coaster are kind of by feel rather than any technical side of things. Here's the way. Whatever I can do to help the live stream. Anyway, I'm getting a bit rate warning regarding the stream, so maybe I need to drop to 30. I was going to try and stream at 60 frames per second, because that's obviously better, but we might have to drop down to 30. I thought my internet might be able to handle it, but maybe not. So I'm not entirely sure how to change it. Oh well. Hey, I'm new to this. You've got to give me a bit of a chance to figure it out. If anyone's more used to OBS, then let me know, as I am not. But hey, if this works, I can stick with it. I remember just having a frame rate earlier, but that seems to have disappeared. Oh well. I guess we are sticking at 60 for now. Okay, well, we'll stick with it at the moment anyway, and hopefully my internet will hold up to scrutiny. Right, let's carry on with the coaster. I think water coasters are quite interesting, is you kind of got to work within the limitations. You can't make anything too extreme. But you still want to make a fun coaster. And we probably shouldn't dive into the water park side of things. One of my favourite water coasters, though, that I've done was probably the new Mark 1 Fjord Explorers that I included in the video. So I think I'm going to add a little bit of it a bit inspired by that. With a slightly more extreme turnaround than you might expect. Now, will all this have enough energy to have the power to do it? One way to find out. I've got collision mostly turned off for this, because I think that's going to make things easier to make interesting coasters. But I still want to try and avoid anything colliding too much. I think we might need to change this a little. Let's do some twistiness instead. Let's do a little bit of a double down actually, because that could be a fun little start to the coaster before we pull up and twist. Going to the maximal level of banking. You should have enough energy to do that. Again, the very much Fjord Explorers inspired turn. Well, that seems to be working. You always got to try and work within the limits of what Planet Coaster can do. And I think we could be on something here. If you're just tuning in, then feel free to say hello. This stream is, of course, in aid of the YouTube Team Water campaign, which is currently getting very close to its goal of $40 million. So if you feel like making a donation, then please do. As anything you can help do, every donation helps. And I think what I'm going to do here is probably do a bit of a helix, because we're getting close to that tree, and trees are important as well as water. I think we can hopefully avoid. How's the track looking? Okay, I think that could just about work. But I think I want a bit of airtime here. We need to straighten the track, get it going nice and straight. And a little bit of a hill so we get that lovely airtime going over the top. But of course, what we need to add for a water coaster is going to be a splashdown, which I think could work quite well here. So we add the special pieces. We're slightly off centre there, so I think we need to tweak that just a little bit. And I think that's just about perfect. Of course, we need to have the run out. We may need to go slightly higher up, just to make the trough safe enough that we don't kill people on board, because that would be a bad idea. How's that looking? I think that could work. Now, is it going to have enough water to slow the coaster down? Just about, I think. But we'll need to have a little bit of a curve coming off it, I think. Get into the right position. Sorry, just trying to tweak the settings that I can tweak at the moment. It'd be nice if it could be like a streaming setting where you could just make everything amazing and it would work fantastically. Let me just see if that's fixed the bitrate of the stream. Hopefully it might work, but I will see. Gonna have to tweak the train a bit here because we're getting into the train, which isn't really what I want. That goes just about the right speed, I think. So after that, have a nice little general boat section, I think. Doing a little bit of meandering. Maybe add some scenery to it later. What we're going to have to do is get back up to height again. Because we need to get back up to the start, which is all the way up there. And we can have a steeper lift hill than that. About 30 degrees or so. Should be good. I'm going to need to have a reasonable size of a lift hill that might be slightly on the unrealistic side. Got to get to 62 feet, and we're currently at 103, but I think that could work. Let's also just add a little block break, I think. Just to make sure we can run enough trains on this to make it work well. Now, YouTube's currently complaining that my bitrate is too high. There's no pleasing YouTube, really, is there? If anyone knows what the ideal bitrate for streaming is, then let me know. I didn't think streaming would be quite as complicated, but yeah, it is what it is. If you're in the chat and watching, then say hi. And if you go to the link that I put in the description, you can request what I build. It could be a coaster, it could be a dueling coaster, it could be any number of things. Flat rides. Otherwise, I'm just going to make my own silly fun stuff. And that may be a little bit more steep than a coaster should be. In fact, I think YouTube has just given me a suggested Brit date. Let's try that. I'm starting to understand why a lot of people have people to moderate and manage their streams for them, as opposed to trying to do everything yourself. Okay, stream health is excellent, according to both things. Well, healthy on one, excellent on the other. I'll take it. Right, let's try and how can I avoid this tree? I think we probably need to do a little bit of a double down, perhaps, or just a little bit where we scoot over the top of the tree here. Because our goal is to try and get back to the correct height of the station, which is back here. I've been really enjoying Planet Coaster 2 though. It's a great game, and I did a review video on my channel, and thankfully, it seems like the feedback the team's got from making it, they've taken on board, because there were quite a few issues initially when it first started, when it first released, because it was a little bit on the bare bones side, to say the least. But the developers have taken the criticism on board and decided to make it better without going for like the cheap route of just making lots of DLC for it, which I could easily have done. But the current state of Planet Coaster is pretty good, and it looked briefly like something was on fire there. Oh, we have a power generator on fire. I will sort that after I finish up this coaster. How are we looking in terms of forces here? Would you ride this? Well, looks like a nice gentle start to it. That's going to be maybe a little bit too strong. We might need to tweak that a little bit. I don't want to make this coaster too long because most water coasters aren't incredibly long. I think this could be like a nice sort of sweeping motion before we get back up to the station. I'm going to go over this with the smoothing tool, I think, because we are looking a little bit on the janky side. We're looking a bit more Arrow than Intamin, or Mac, as this is the Mac coaster. Not sure how much speed we're going to have coming up here. It should be okay, I think. We'll do a little bit of a double up. Let's try and bring us back towards where we started. Just checking out the stream health again. You seem to be doing okay. Oh, James, hi. Yeah, thanks for your comment, James. Were you the person that donated, by the way? Because I've been looking on the stream, and there's one person that's listed as James who's donated $10. Uh, I don't know if it's yourself or not, but if it is, then let me know what you would like me to build. Because for the $10 incentive, you can request a flume of your design. You can press the name of it, the color of it, any particular elements, or the style of flume we go for. So, if it was you, thanks for joining. And if it wasn't you, then I will thank this mystery James some other way. I think we need another. I think probably gonna have to remove this tree actually because it's going to struggle otherwise. And what I'd like to have is another block break section here, just to make sure that we can have multiple trains going on the track. I think a final little bit of a dive off the edge. Thank you very much for donating, James. That's very nice of you. And thanks for joining the stream. Let me know what you'd like me to build, and I shall build it. I do quite like this map with like the cliff edge on it, because I think it gives you some interesting building opportunities. Although I'm not currently entirely sure how I'm going to join this up. Hi, one trouble. Swap, you missed me trying to mess around with stream settings to get this set up properly, but I think the stream is looking quite healthy at the moment, from the streaming point of view. It's slightly complicated as I'm streaming to two different channels at the same time. But I recently upgraded my internet, so I think my internet can hopefully handle it. And if it can't, then play Virgin Media. I was in a bit of a rush to get this all sorted because I'm actually just back from a massive theme park trip to the United States and Canada, which was incredible. I rode a lot of the newest coasters that I had wanted to for a long time. So I got on Siren's Curse, Alpen Fury, Top Thrill 2, uh, Wrath of Rakasha, and a whole bunch of other coasters as well. I even made it to some brand new parks for me, which is kind of rare these days. And this one may be a bit too extreme. Let's extend it a little. I don't think I've enough energy to do these elements, but I will shortly find out. We seem to be in golden hour in terms of lighting at the moment. I might change it a little bit later to just be daytime, because that makes it generally a bit easier to figure out what's going on. If the audio levels are good, let me know as well. I'm not a professional streamer, but I've tried to set things up so things aren't too loud or obnoxious. What we'll need to do is a slight little bit of banking for a double up here. Okay, who thinks this is going to work? We obviously need to smooth this corner out a bit, because we can't have that. Smoothing tool does work a lot better than it did in the original Planet Coaster, I think. Right, shall we see how it's currently looking? This is the rough layout to start with. Okay, very much need to edit the terrain around a bit there. Just reading your comment, James. Yeah, I think breakdowns at Cedar Point have been a massive issue this year. Uh, it was a mixed bag when I was there. Thankfully, none of the days I went were too busy. Sometimes the weather wasn't that great, but I'd kind of planned to work around the supposed downtime that Cedar Point's been having. So I had several days there, and thankfully the pass that I got was the Six Flags pass with the upgrade to the All Park pass. which gives you the equivalent of Prestige Pass level at all the all the Cedar Fair parks, which means you get a free fast track for any ride, which was very, very useful. But okay, that drop there is probably a bit too much. But there was quite a bit of downtime for a lot of the rides. I think Top Thrill 2 is supposedly getting a bit better now. Ghost is not making it. I mean, if I had only had one day at Cedar Point, I probably would have struggled a lot to get everything I wanted to do done. As one of my friends did say that Cedar Fair has, like, well, Cedar Point at least, has seriously dropped its maintenance budget compared to previous years, which has led to them having a lot more breakdowns and a lot less reliability than previous years. I think we probably have to delete this section actually because it's not quite got the energy to do it. But I think we can probably join up here. But Cedar Fair is still a great park. It's just a shame that I don't know the Six Flags merger has probably not been for the best. I mean, it's good for making a great deal for your theme park pass, as now you can have like one season pass that gets you into pretty much every big park in America. But the price we're paying is less investment into the rides and slashing of budgets, which is not what you really want. Top Thrill 2. Top Thrill 2 is good. I like the original, and I'm not sure which I prefer at the moment, the original or the new version. The new version is obviously a lot longer, but the old version had all that power from the launch in like one go. So they are actually quite a bit different, the overall ride experience. Even more of a double up, hopefully. There. But yeah, the first launch of Top Thrill 2 is good. It gets there though. It doesn't start off brilliantly. It starts off like a pretty slow and not that impressive launch, but towards the end of it, you pick up speed, and that makes it a bit better. The second launch backwards, again, you don't feel as much as you might expect, but it's still decent. And the third launch, though, that's where it's all at. Are we going to make it here? No. Okay, I might need to tweak things slightly more. Let's let's cheat. Let's put another lift hill here. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a full review video of Top Thrill 2 or not, because it's a good ride, but there's not really that much I can say about the ride that hasn't already been said. It is just three launches, a top pass, a twist, and then that's it. It is a good coaster though. I mean, it's the reverse spike I really liked more than I was expecting because there's something just special about going backwards up that spike, and you just get this amazing view out over the park. And the view from the top of any coaster at Cedar Point is absolutely stunning because you've just got so many coasters all around you. And it is, well, they say the roller coaster capital of the world, and hey, I think that's just about justified. There's a lot of very large and very impressive rides. It is a good drop, James. Have you done Red Force at Portaventura? 'Cause I thought they were quite an interesting comparison to make between Red Force and Top Thrill 2. Because Red Force doesn't go as fast as Top Thrill 2, but I kind of felt it felt faster, if that makes any sense. Because the launches on Top Thrill 2, they all come sequentially, so you got forwards, backwards, forwards again. But on Red Force, it's all in one. So you get this amazing launch that just feels like you're hurtling at insane speed towards the top hat. And even though it's not as fast, it kind of feels faster, which yeah may not make an awful lot of sense. But the first ride on Top Thrill 2, it was impressive, but it didn't feel as fast as Red Force. Right. Do you think this coaster is going to work? Answers on a postcard. Still need to smooth out some banking earlier on as well. Let's do a smoothing run. Yeah, and I need to sort out that little bit of track there. I think I need to make this a little bit taller as well. Okay, let's give a quick test. Just leave it off for 1 second and I shall be back. Right, so it should be sorted. Stealth is an interesting comparison to Top Thrill 2 as well. It's obviously nowhere near as big or as powerful and aggressive. But I always felt like Stealth was like a mini King Car. It's the same layout, just a lot smaller. How do I think this coast is looking? I think it's just about getting there. I'm also wondering what video to make next, because I'm wanting to do reviews of Siren's Curse, uh, Alpine Fury, maybe Top Thrill 2, and maybe Wrath of Rakasha. But scripts for them are all partially in progress. Hey, I think Alcosta made it. But the question is just which one do I make first? And also, I think we need some better lighting. Yeah, the lighted turns. But yeah, let's sort out some of the terrain because that wasn't quite working. Hey, we've made almost minus £5,000 dollars profit. How wonderful. Right, let's get on to the terrain mapping. Maybe getting a bit too extreme there. Not enough extreme there. Okay, let's just bang all the water there. Might need to tidy it up a little bit, but that kind of works. Just need to get rid of some of this shrubbery. Actually, rather than destroying the trees, let's be nice to the trees and move them. Because this stream is all about doing the good stuff, like team water, which currently, if I look on my third screen, is at 38 million, getting close to 39 million of the $40 million target. So at the moment, it's supplied 38,909,170, right, 184 years of water, which is kind of incredible. And whilst this stream probably isn't going to make much more of that, every little helps that can raise awareness of the campaign or make you part of Team Water. Long live the king of roller coasters and his Kingda Ka Six Flags Great Adventure. What's sad about Kingda Ka being demolished by Cedar? Yeah, one shot. That's very true. I'm very sad that Kingda Ka got demolished and without any fanfare as well, which just is wrong for the tallest roller coaster in the world. To just like close it. There's rumours about its closure, but the people spreading those rumours had spread rumours of other coasters closing in the past. So you couldn't really take them for certain. But unfortunately, King Dakar is gone. Long live the king. And it's interesting what some of the plans of what they're suggesting for the replacement, which I think is looking like it's going to be Mack Rides, same as this coaster. I think there was a tour of the construction site recently, but they didn't give all that much away. I think they just said it was going to be tall. They didn't really say how tall exactly. I mean, I doubt they're going to get the record from Falcon's Flight, which is looking like incredible at the moment. I still can't believe that thing's actually being built. Because it is just, I've seen like, I saw the video of Falcon's Flight testing and probably didn't think it was real because it just doesn't look real. Like, how could that thing even exist? But it does exist, and it's, yeah, I'm hoping to go out there. I know Saudi Arabia has its issues, but as a coaster fan, I can't not go and ride the new tallest and fastest and everything is roller coaster in the world when it finally opens. Yeah, the Mack Tower coaster, James. It's I've seen like pictures or like designs of it, and hmm, it's a thing. Doesn't look very great, but I mean, the every Mack spinning coaster I've been on has been good. Okay, there's only two of them: Time Traveler and Ride to Happiness. The 19th best coaster in the world, as I've annoyed some people by saying. The spinning coaster could be interesting, but is it going to be a worthy successor to King Dakar? I'm not sure. What shall we call this roller coaster? I need to add some power. Oh yeah, and there was a blown up power distributor I needed to fix. I probably should have set this up without the maintenance aspect being required. That does add a little bit of extra complication. But let's be good to the environment and add some nice big solar panels somewhere where no one can see them. Ooh, my power grid does not look healthy. Hopefully I can fix that. I might have resurrected it slightly. I think there was something a little bit on fire there, which I probably need to get a mechanic to fix. Okay, that path isn't the nicest, but it'll do. And let's add a new mechanic. And because James has donated, you can be the mechanic. So James, fix this. Okay, another mechanic has decided to try and fix it. Just can't get staff these days. Fingers crossed. Come on, you know you want to do it. Hey, sorted. Hopefully that's got our power grid back to some sort of healthy state. Yes, rides have power. I think that means a little bit of tweaking because we need multiple votes. We can open our first water coaster. Oh, or maybe not. I'll tweak all this one. For the charity, let's call it stream water. Shall we find out how much pay you're getting, James? Where's the staff menu? You're content at least. And you know what? Because you've dated, you can have high pay. And we'll also make you special by making you stand out. Okay, maybe not pink. Maybe blue with red and a little bit of yellow. And finally, some purple. And look how happy you are. Right, what shall we build next? Uh, if you want to suggest a particular kind of flume, James, I will build it for your generous donation. I set up some levels, so if you donate to the stream using the link, $2 gets you to be a staff member. You can be an entertainer, a mechanic, or any other staff member. Uh, $5, you can request a flat ride and name it, select the colours. $10, you can request a flume type. Again, name it, select the colours, the type. $15, you can request a coaster. Again, colours, names, anything you like. And because they're slightly more complicated to build and will take a lot of time, if you want a dueling coaster, it's $40. And if you want to force me to play Park Beyond instead of Planet Coaster, it's going to be 50. But I'm hoping no one's going to donate that much. Love the drip. Right, so is this ready to open? We don't want to call it Water 1, we're calling this Stream Water. Coaster 1. Yeah, it's open. Who's going to be the first? Actually, we should probably look at the statistics of it to make sure it's not too scary, reasonably exciting, and all right amounts of nausea. Wait a minute, can you hear that? I think we have a cow somewhere. I heard the bouncing. Where is he hiding? Ah, we have Mr. Beast's latest cash cow, which I'm not sure that's coming up on stream or not, but I play a slightly different resolution to what the stream actually is, so hopefully that's shown up. If not, 1 second. I probably should have set up all the streaming stuff before. Oh, I think that should. Oh, yeah. Once I'm not fine with the microphone power coaster. Body drop flumes. Okay, I can do that. Right, so we'll go from the same platform here and hopefully end up in there. Let's build a flume. By body drop flume, I assume you're thinking of this kind with the vertical drop or near vertical drop. I'm just going to right off the edge of the cliff because that's going to be quite scary. Do we have it enclosed or not enclosed? What's going to be scariest? Well, I think just dropping off this cliff could be an experience. I'm going to try and make this coaster not kill anyone. Oh, coaster, flume. Planet Coaster 2 is definitely worth getting now, I think. I mean, when it first came out, it had issues. But the devs, like, it was a bit controversial that the devs decided to just start making DLC before actually fixing what needed to be fixed. But now they fixed what needed to be fixed. And they've added lots of stuff from the original Planet Coaster that was missing before. Would this coaster anyone actually ride, this flume? I'm not 100% sure how safe it would be. That's part of the fun of Planet Coaster, is making insane rides that couldn't really exist in reality. I'm not even sure this is going to work, but shall we test it and see? Can you imagine actually riding this, like standing on the edge, then the floor opening up and sending you? Ooh, that looked a bit painful. Okay, maybe we need to tweak it a little bit. Now, do we make this taller or not as tall? Let's see what happens. Okay, I think he just about survived that. You were just about one massive drop at the end. And I think if we go out into one of these brake run things, it'd just about be survivable. Maybe. Let's see, shall we? Who's going to be the lucky first test dummy? I think he lived. Did he get statistics for it? Okay, it's not too scary. Only 5 fear for this roller coaster which drops off a cliff. There's a massive loop and then another massive drop. If that's how you want to rate it, Planet Coaster, then maybe people will ride it. Let's just move things out a little though. If you'd like to give this coaster a name or select the colours, then let me know. I'm still surprised that there's actually effort that we build this and people may consider riding it. Let's just add on an exit for it. Hey, maybe people will actually survive it. We probably need a different colour scheme though. What happened to the supports on the Mac? I think when you go over a swimming pool, the supports disappear, unfortunately. Uh, I'm not sure if there's a way you can actually fix this or not, because we've got supports there and there, and supports on the stuff that isn't over a swimming pool. But unfortunately, I could build custom supports for it, but that takes ages and isn't that exciting to do. So we'll have to deal with the lack of supports. Oh yeah, Universal Studios Great Britain. It's going to be interesting. Okay, and yes, Eat the Pipe. That sounds like a good name to me. Will let me open it. It will let me open it. Fireworks and everything. Next question. Will anyone ride it? I think it did complain that it wanted some water filtration. So let's add in some of that. That's why I had any water filtration. That would be a good thing. Let's add some water filtration to other places. Hey, yeah, I probably should have turned this aspect of Planet Coaster off for the stream, but it's another sort of gameplay thing you can do. Need some more power. Sorted. Hopefully. Is anyone going to be brave enough to ride this? Yes, surprisingly. Let's change some colours though. Oh wow, very prestigious. I mean, I think a ride like this kind of needs to be looking more dangerous. So we need the reds and danger colours. And are people actually surviving this? He's alive! Wow, this is one brave dude. Let's call it just a beast. So Marty, the Team Water thing. Thanks for joining, by the way. Good to see you. The Team Water thing is a campaign by YouTube that's aiming to get clean and safe water to lots of people around the world. It's aiming to make $40 million, and currently, if I can figure out my streaming software, it's on just under $39 million. So the idea is to raise 40 million to give 2 million people access to clean water for decades. So worthy cause, I think. But yeah, if you go to teamwater.org, you can donate to the cause. You can get some cool merch, such as this T-shirt. Uh, or if you go to the link I put in the description for this video, then I'll just check everything's lined up. Yeah, very close to the goal, and it's till the end of this month, so there's only 1 day left. I mean, half of me suspects that if it's close to the goal and doesn't reach it, then Mr. Beast will probably top it up because it's not as if he's like short of money, and he could probably have like just done the whole thing himself if he wanted to. This way it's fun to get the community involved, and yeah, it's a worthy cause. Shall we see what this was actually like to ride? Would you ride this? Okay, need to remove that tree. In all honesty, that looks borderline. Okay, probably no one would be crazy enough to ride it, but borderline actually a ride that might not kill you. The question is, what do we build next? Well, roller coaster seems to be fairly popular, which is good. Oh yeah, there was a tree that was kind of in the way. Yeah, that would be a bit painful. Let's move our tree a little bit. My poison for tonight is King Rat, which is a hazy IPA. Which is quite nice. Helps get a little more relaxed for doing streaming, as it's not something that comes that naturally to me, as you may be able to tell. The danger pipe, don't look down. Sounds a bit like Oblivion. Actually, with this setup, I think a dive coaster could work quite well. Let's pull a dive coaster. Because the most recent dive coaster I rode was, of course, I was going to say Wrath of Rakasha, but it wasn't. It was Yukon Striker. But the newest dive coaster I've ridden is Wrath of Rakasha. Where is our dive coaster gone? Or Rattle of Rakasha, as some people know it. There we go. And starting over here and having a turn towards a lift hill that takes you towards the edge. Well, I think that could work quite well. Except our drop might get a bit crazy, but hey, who's afraid of a crazy drop? And maybe if you make a video at this very section, you can get millions of views on YouTube. I'll technically have a little bit of a drop before the lift hill, but yeah, we'll leave that for now. How tall will this dive coaster be? I think that looks impressive enough. Is the lift hill working? No, it's not. Hold on. It's not working. Yeah, we might have to do the actual lift hill ourselves. Yeah, I think any drop that goes over a cliff is kind of special. The original dive coaster is, of course, Oblivion, though. It's still a good ride to this day. Like I know it's been like outclassed by taller, bigger, faster dive coasters, and it is a one-trick pony, but it's a damn good trick when you actually ride it. I mean, starting off the dive coaster with some sort of ill is almost mandatory now. I wonder if there's like a rattle button you can press to make it more realistic. I'm going to make. I can try and keep this a relatively short coaster, but make it as interesting as I can. Okay, maybe not so realistic by having some slightly more weird elements. But hey, weird elements can be interesting. Just ask RMC. Will this actually work though, like I want it to? Maybe not. Hold on. No, it's not quite the way I want it. The other way. This may not be the worst realistic dive coaster in the world, but as I said, I'm going for something a little bit unusual. See a little bit of a wobbly bit. Yeah, Oblivion is great. Uh, both of them. This is, of course, the Oblivion in Gargoland as well. Okay, we need to smooth that out a bit more. Hold on. Let's add some smoothing here, if we can. I get the feeling there may be a bit too much G-force there, so we may need to make it slightly different. I do kind of like this general idea of a rollout to a pullout. Let's add a big airtime hill because who doesn't love big airtime hills? Actually, let's add a barrel here of the Team Water logo. The question is, would anyone here actually ride this? It's a fairly short layout, but I think it's interesting. Just like the dive coasters, I think, as I said, they're kind of one-trick ponies in a way. Well, the first one was. I think a lot of the more recent ones, as with all recent BNNs, is A lot of complaints about the rattle. But I kind of feel like the new ones do have a rattle, but it's not enough to make them unenjoyable. There's so many people like, oh no, Nemesis is ruined. You can't ride Raptera or Rakasha, but I think a lot of people are being more dramatic than they need to be. I said that though, there is a distinct difference between old B&M and new B&M. There's comparing Yukon Striker to Rakasha, and Yukon Striker is older, but it's also smoother, which probably shouldn't be the case. That's about as low as we can get. I think like a nice little pop of airtime before the end. I think that'll be a nice little finish. I keep hearing the telltale sounds of the Mr. Beast's latest cash cow. But he seems happy enough anyway. A few messages get caught up on. I'm not sure if you can do a splashdown unless you add sort of water to the ride itself. So actually, let's see if we can. We're gonna have to alter the terrain a little bit. Actually, it would be easier if we made it go up. This may or may not work, but if it does, great. If it doesn't, I tried. Maybe we're slightly a little bit too. Shall we see if it works? I don't think water breaking is a thing with the ride. What has it got to? We're still testing what we need to test. I think we need some better colours as well. Looking a bit too Yukon Striker. Sadly, no splash, but there is a way around that, I think. If, you can add effects to coasters, so yeah, supposedly large water splash. You can add some bubbles at least, anyway. Not exactly Diamondback, but it'll do. You can sync these things up as well if you want to put the effort in. So you can have these come on only when the water coaster goes past it. But that's more complicated than I can be bothered putting in effort to make. Well, that'll do for now. B&M Dive Coaster Flamingoland. That could be interesting, but I honestly don't really see it happening. I visited Flamingoland earlier this year, and I've got a bit of a soft spot about that park because it was one of the first theme parks I ever went to. And I still remember, like, my earliest roller coaster memory is riding Thunder Mountain, which I think was like a Pinfari Cyclone in the dark. But that's the earliest roller coaster I can ever remember riding, so I guess it's kind of special for me in a way. But just with how Flamingo Land is, I don't see them getting a new coaster for probably a very long time unless it's something crappy and small like an SPF Visa spinner or something like that. Because I kind of feel like their older investment budget went towards Sick, which is one of the worst names for any roller coaster. And also, it's not that great a coaster to ride. The first half is brilliant, like really enjoyable, especially with the lap bars. But the second half, where it's just like endless barrel rolls, where you're just being held by the lap bar, it just gets uncomfortable and it stops being fun. What do we think of this dive coaster then? Again, stats don't look too bad. Surprisingly, not as scary as you might think. Maybe need to ease up the banking a bit there, and then I kind of like the large inversion over the water. We need to smooth it out a bit, but I think it's interesting. A little bit of off-axis airtime. Before gliding back into the station. Okay, need to remove some of the scenery to make it not kill people. I can do that. Which bit needed the most? I think that needed more banking, didn't it? It's always a bit use a smooth tool because you don't always think about the heart lining of an element. Because it may look wrong, but the heart lining for dive coasters is something altogether different. Kumali is actually really good. I remember I rode it with my friend Dave, like when we went there, and Kumali is legitimately a decent coaster and one of the better SLCs out there. Like it's actually enjoyable and worth riding more than once, which is more than you can say for a lot of Vekoma SLCs. Oh, hi, James Myers on the other stream, the vertical live stream as well. I think I've got it set up so I'm streaming in both vertical and horizontal on different YouTube channels, which I'm going to say I'm fairly proud of. I shall actually set this shit up. You've not done the Great Nor'easter, have you, Marty? Because that's surprisingly good for an SLC as well in the original flavour and original layout. Yeah, it would be quite interesting to see Vekoma actually make a new suspended thrill coaster with the layout of the original SLC, because that's going to be something interesting, I think. I've never been one for like designing the best paths. I'm all about building the coasters because it's so much more fun than anything else in the game. Food and the occasional tree is acceptable. One thing that's quite cool regarding scenery in the new version of Planet Coaster, though, is if we go to some shrubbery or trees, for example, one thing is set is to have random sizing. So you place several things and they end up in different sizes to give a more natural look. And you can also give random rotation as well. So you place things there and they're different sizes, different shapes. Let's add some rocks around about here. Of course, the nature of random means that random can cover a lot of different things. Yeah, now we have some nice little rock work around about the base of our dive coaster. You could make it into a little tunnel actually, so we do that. Unfortunately, collision detection for people in water parks isn't brilliant. They will swim through any scenery you put down. But, you know, I think we got a nice little. It's all using the same bit of scenery as well, which is just so much faster than the original Planet Coaster, where you'd have to like change everything so at different sizes and lined up right. But so you can just plunk down all this the very same boulder. Okay, that one didn't quite work. Yeah, we can plunk down boulders to get a nice little archway. maybe not the most realistic thing in the world, but you can always adjust these afterwards as well. So move in to get in the right place. Yeah, we've got a nice little archway for people to walk through. Our trusty lifeguard looking. So we have another roller coaster added. The Team Water. And currently my beer is empty, so I am going to go and get another one. I shall be right back. I am back, and my new poison is one of my favourite beers, which if you're ever in Britain, try it out. It's called Heathen by Northern Monk, and it's rather delicious. And the new internet upgrade is a gigabit, uh, which was an upgrade from, yeah, about an order of magnitude faster than I had before. I basically got annoyed with like paying Virgin money for internet where they just kept increasing the price and giving no more. So I managed to negotiate with them to pay less and get much faster internet. So hey, that's great. But it's enough to be currently streaming to vertical and horizontal live streaming at the same time, and also watching the stream on my Chromebook as well. Yeah, Flamingo Land, like I say, it's a park I've got soft spots for, and I think it's not as bad as some people make out. There's a lot of filler there. There's like a couple of good coasters, so second worth riding. It's not the best, and as I said, the main issue is just those endless heartline rolls at the end, which just get uncomfortable. But the launched motorbike coaster Velocity is decent. The Kumali is decent. They've got a coaster designed by Alan Shilker. Unfortunately, it's designed before he got good at designing coasters. It's one of the SNS Beyond Vertical Drop things. Uh, there's a decent drop tower at Flamingo Land. There's a good sort of shoot the shoots thing. And then there's a hell of a lot of filler. But there's also like a zoo there as well. So it's a park that if you do visit the UK, try and visit. It's kind of awkward to get to because it's in Yorkshire and is not that close to the other main parks. but it's still good. Yeah, the design is. Well, are you talking about the Alashoka design or the Sick design, Marty? Because I don't think design is actually that good. Because it's. I mean, you've done the version, the Green Lantern version, which has better restraints. It's Green Lantern at SeaWorld, not SeaWorld, Warner Brothers, Australia, has the lap bar only restraints. And the one at Flamingo Land's got the sort of concertina restraints similar to uh, Olympia looping. Uh, and I don't think it's that great a layer. It's impressive what they've managed to fit into a very small footprint. Like for the size of the footprint of those sort of coasters. Actually, why don't we build one? But for the size of the footprint that they pack a lot more in than you'd expect. Like it's probably a footprint that's maybe half the size of a wild mouse. Actually, is the SNS coaster still in Planet Coaster now? I'm not 100% sure it is. Ah, one thing is missing. What I do have, though, is the DLC, which includes the Max Spinning Coaster, if I can find it. But the proper Max Spinning Coaster. I know, F&F, International Crazy Mouse. Well, let's build our own version of Mumbo Jumbo slash Green Lantern slash what are the other ones called? I think the biggest shame about visiting York nowadays, though, is that the Ultimate is no more. Because that was a wonderfully unique coaster. Like, there's nothing else quite like it. I mean, it was built by British Rail, which is laughable for a coaster. But it was also, for many, many years, the longest roller coaster in the entire world. And that was built by someone that don't doesn't normally make roller coasters, which you gotta give credit for. If I remember rightly, these ones have quite a steep lift hill, around about 45 degrees or so. So yeah, let's try and make this the smallest footprint I can, but not be shit. Fast and Furious International? Yeah, sad to see the Ultimate disappear. And as we're a Shulker design, we of course have to have some outward banking before we have the steep drop. Now, the drops in these actually are have brakes in them to allow them to get to be ridiculously steep. So I'll try and keep that in mind and have some brakes for this. Can we go? Oh, we can go beyond vertical. Just how beyond vertical can we go? Again, very much doing this by feel rather than any sort of logical sense. Would you ride this so far? And again, I think we probably need to go for some silly banking after our first drop. Ah, slight problem, as you may be able to see. We are stuck. Let's try and fix that. And as with all good coaster games, let's just make the lift hill faster. I think that'll work. Oops, sorry. Bad camera. Oh, wait, it didn't actually make it around that bit. I have to. We need to tweak slightly. What should we add next to this? I'm going to try and keep the same kind of footprint as the regular versions of this ride. That made quite a bang. Yeah, it's a sad to see about like Water Valley. Like it used to be a park that was worth visiting, and like if you visited Flamingo Land, you was like, may as well stop off at like Water Valley and have a couple of laps on the Ultimate. But now there's like no point in going there. There's no good coaster. It's like trying to become like more of a family park now, and it just it's just no longer worthwhile adding to your trip to Flamingo Land. Hmm. How am I going to keep this footprint small? I feel like we need another inversion going on though. Let's do a kind of a Norman sort of thing. I'm not 100% sure we've got the energy to do this. Okay, that's just about managing it. I do quite like doing this sort of coaster though, where you're challenging yourself by setting restrictions, like making this have a really tiny footprint, but still ideally be worth riding. We're gonna try and do another inversion here, I think. But we've got to be really tight because there's not a lot of room. Okay, G-forces may be getting a bit too steep there, but footprint's still small. Okay, let's do something a little bit weird here. Let's have a inverted double down. because reasons. And also because I don't think anything has ever done on Virtual Double Down before. Probably for good reason. I think this is almost working. Almost working. Okay, we need to make this even tighter, given the... How much tighter can we make it? Okay, we need to jump this bit. Double down may be not quite as impressive as I want. Or even more impressive than I want. I think we've got too silly now. Let's try and change this. So need to make this smaller basically. So is that gonna be enough? We can try. So I do want to try and have this inverted double down because that's just silly and probably would be quite uncomfortable to actually ride, but I don't know where I've decided that like inverted double down is the right thing, but I've now decided it's the right thing, so now it has to happen. Oakwood, yes. Real shame Oakwood's gone. There were some plans to save it, but sadly they never made anything of it. Uh, Megaphobia was a brilliant coaster. Uh, the best wooden coaster in the UK, I think. At least when it was open. But sadly, it's gone. Well, it's not gone. It's still there, but the chances of it coming back are pretty damn small. It had a really good relationship with like coaster clubs in the UK as well, because both the European Coaster Club and the Roller Coaster Club of Great Britain, they each had like camping events at the park. So literally, we'd get tents and be camping in the shadow of some of the park's rides, which was great fun. And the park was always really good to us. They gave us like ERT on Megaphobia at night, and night rides in it were incredible. And most of the time, we just rode it with a bunch of like glow sticks or silly light up things. And yeah, riding a roller coaster where you're all got silly glow sticks on, and you're like launching them off when you go off the drop. It's a visual, and also I don't think it was mentioned this, but at the time that they had these special events, it was the Perseid meteor shower. So quite often you'd be going up the lift hill and see a whole bunch of shooting stars. It was incredible. I believe there's a coaster that's very similar to Megaphobia in America still. Is it Rampage at a park I've not been to? I think it's got a very similar layout. Might not be identical, but okay, we have our small footprint S&S coaster, which may or may not be uncomfortable. Looking at the banking, I'm guessing it probably will be uncomfortable. But smoothing tool to the rescue. Okay, so we'll see how bad this is actually like to ride. I mean, it can be worse than the normal S&S coasters. Let's just do a smoothing pass first of all to make sure that it's minimally awful as we can make it. Okay, shall we ride? Let me know what you think of this one. I'm not entirely sure whether we've not started yet. Come on, get going. That's why we won't get started. Okay. Is this going to be as bad as most S&S coasters? Let's find out. Okay, for starters, a little bit of a collision problem there. But I can tweak that. Yeah, have our classic Shilke banking. Beyond vertical drop. More weird banking. Some airtime into a turnaround. And slow inversions. Another crazy inversion. Another inverted double down. Before we slowly run out of energy. And get back down to the end. Oof. That ending might be breaking a couple of necks. Might need to tweak that a little bit. So issues with this coaster. There are many, but first of all we need to tweak a couple of them. Nice! Oh no, that's a bit without clearance. Okay, let's give us as much clearance as we possibly can. It isn't enough. Have to bring this in slightly. I think that's might have got it. Our rounding's probably a bit too crazy, so we should probably add some trims there. I think that'll do. I think our clearance has just about made it. Should we try again? Why not? If I can find the cam button. There we go. Boom. How is this coaster currently looking? Again, I'll be on vertical drops. I think our clearance is okay so far. Silly outward banking. With airtime into more. Silly banking. Upside down hang time. Crazy banking. Our inverted double down. The swinging round. More silly banking. And yeah, Shulker could have designed it himself. What do we call this then? We had Mumbo Jumbo at Schlingerland. Uh, Green Lantern is the other one. Timber Drop is the other one. So I will call this one. Yeah, everyone loves an inverted double down. So we will call this Double Down on Black. And make it gambling themed. And also make it red and black. For our gambling friends. Family but not operating. Rampage, yeah. I think I've actually got a random bit of merch from Rampage, even though I've never actually written it. So let me just see if I can find it. Hold on. I have my random shelf of ride stuff. So as part of Coaster Force, we have this random thing where basically we spread out lots of different ride merch to people, and like the crappier it is, the better. And I'm sure I've got like a Rampage keyring somewhere, except I can't currently find it. I'll have to look it out for later. But there's plenty of other random fun here. Right, what do we think of Double Down on Black? Well, it needs to be blacker maybe, but yeah, let's change the color again slightly. Which color is this? That one? Yeah, that's better. And of course, spontaneous willpower. Let's let's add our power distributor. Oh, we are ready to open. Yeah, we'll see how popular it is and then see if we need to add another train or not. I'm guessing, well, how's its statistics? Let's have a look. Again, surprisingly not very scary, not really exciting, and not nauseous. I think that could just about work. Marty would ride it once, just for the cred, I'm guessing. We'll see if anyone rides it. I think it's time to build another flume, though. Are people still riding this death trap or not? Oh, we have a brave person. Darnell, or Darnell, Farius. Let's rename him. He's doing the ride, and there he goes. Still can't believe people are actually riding this silly coaster. Did he die? I don't. There he goes. I might as well stage. Of course, you don't want to miss a cred. Even though I missed two, I think, at Canada's Wonderland because I didn't want to do the kiddie creds. Oh crap, we have some bad cues here. Something's gone wrong with our water coaster. I think it must have. It's vallied somewhere. How did that happen? Quick fix. Maybe we need to do less trains so it doesn't valley. It's probably getting stuck on that brake run. We need to do that to change the settings. Is indeed a Mac product. Oh, speaking of, I was going to build a spinning coaster. No, we actually have a couple of flat rides here too, just to add a bit of variety. But I'm not sure how much room we have to fit one in. Maybe a small drop tower, or a big drop tower. Hey, that kind of puts our dive coaster to shame, though. It's like so much bigger. Dive coasters. There we go. All right, what shall we call this drop tower? Best suggestion in the comments for what to name our drop tower will get its name. And I'm going to make it some random colors. I'm still excessively purple. Oh god, those are hideous colors. What the hell is up with the colors on that ride? Have we got a bug or is it really that ugly? It wants power. Everything wants power. You need unlimited power. Okay, let's actually. Shall we name it after a long gone uh, classic water ride that I did actually get to ride, but unfortunately not on the best side? I'm making it all blue because I'm going to name this after the very special drop tower that's sadly no longer with us, Blue Fall. Because this was a very cool ride that it had a fake out drop. Sadly, you didn't get to choose which side you rode, so there were four drop towers on the side of it, but you didn't get to decide which one you went on. And one of them did this cool thing where it dropped initially, and then it stopped you right at the top, well, slightly below the top, and I did the full drop. So it had like a fake out drop before you fell. So in honor of that, we will call this Blue fail. Yeah, the power thing is it's a thing basically. It's I don't think it's honestly that well integrated. I think there could have been more thought put into it because basically it's just like another thing you have to add to the coaster rather than it being something you have to think about. Because it could have made it interesting in that if like perhaps you can get solar powers, you can have like normal generators, or you can have solar panels, and perhaps it could be like a financial decision. So the initial outlay of solar powers would be more, but then you'd get free electricity from it. So in the long term, it'd be cheaper. But now it's just like, oh, just yeah, stick some stuff down next to it so it works. And I don't think it really adds that much to the gameplay. Ah, yes, Max Spinning Coaster is what I was still planning to do. Now, where is it? One second. Sorry, to text someone. I'm sure this is a very exciting stream to watch me text someone, but yeah. And the fact you can connect them, yeah, it's not like on Parkitect where you have to consider everything and they like have to tunnel the power lines underneath. You can yeah just build them however and they automatically connect. Parkitect is probably like the better management sim, and it's but this is the better sort of coaster designer and better graphics certainly. Where did I leave that Max spinning coaster? Actually, you can probably go to my manufacturer and then I should find it. Hold on, where is our Mac attack? What's this? Press lower. Murphy guys? Max. B&M. Or fake B&M. I do have the DLC installed. Where is it hiding? Here we are. We have our Max spinning coaster. Right, but where do we put it? Quite a large station. We may have to do it a bit off to the edge. And then we maybe have it drop down over the edge. That could be cool. Right, let's start building. Now, I think we will start off with a little bit of an LSM launch. Because, hey, even a launch going downhill could be cool. Set a heart running. But this is to be a rattle setting, though, to make it more realistic. As I know certain people complain about the rattle on Ride to happiness. I think we can have a cool inversion to start out with. Let's try and make the most of this terrain that we have, though. Sorry, computer glitching out there. It's maybe getting a bit too much too soon. Let's. So, I kind of want to have a dive loop here. I have as an inversion as well. Right to shakiness. How was the spinning seat on Steel Taipan? I think it's better on the icon at Blackpool, but you have to ride it as just one person because if you ride it as like a two, it kind of just doesn't spin and defeats the whole purpose of it. I already kind of like the look of how this is going. You just need to make it quite drawn out here so it doesn't get too intense. But you know, I think this launch inversion with spinning. And then I think we just need to have like launch or pull down. I'm liking this one so far. I mean, it's an extreme spinner, but I think it's kind of getting pretty extreme. Well, I probably shouldn't try and piss off Ride the Happiness fans as well, as they do dislike me. Mm. So I think the spinning seat on Icon does make it better. Because Icon is honestly like quite tame, but the spinning seat makes it less tame and much more interesting. Kind of feeling this ride is now sort of starting to get almost like Schwarzkopf vibes, with like the loops going down a hill, you know, like Lesbian Banana, Lisa Bannon. Oh, I don't think a top hat, or actually an outer bank top hat could be a nice little element here. Ooh, the top hat on Alpha Fury is really rather interesting. I will cover that in my review, but it's something kind of good. Ooh, I like this. Actually, so we try and get a bit of a top thrilling vertical spike here. I'm just going the other way. Hmm. This looks, yeah, kind of extreme. So I have review videos, well, notes already taken for several review videos, uh, namely Alpha Fury, uh, Siren's Curse, Wrath of Rakasha, Top Thrill 2, and yeah, all the cool coasters I did on my trip. I'm not sure which one I'm going to make first. This whole Team Water thing kind of took the priority because the campaign is ending in tomorrow, and currently it's on still not quite at its goal yet. It's at wait a minute, let me refresh my third screen because two screens are not enough. 38,911,562. So still just under, just over a million to go to reach the goal of getting 2 million people access to clean water. Because if there wasn't clean water, we wouldn't have clean water coasters. And we'd have things like whatever the water coaster is at Plopsaland, which has really quite dirty water that you probably don't want to actually be in. Just trying to get the backing of this right. We need to go that way and then that way. And it's not wanting to let me do all the twistiness that I want. So we may have to lay off the insane banking drop. Oh, you just go the other way. Let's try that. That's just about working. But we need to make this initial bit of the banking tighter. That's more like it. So we might need to start the pull out. Yeah, we need to start the pull out a bit earlier. So let's instead make this go the other way. Oh crap! Sorry, camera going crazy. This doesn't look quite right. Let's see how much. Hmm. Let's start off with that, shall we? It's not quite getting the banking that I want to get from this, so let's try making it even tighter still. Maybe we need to move this out a little bit more. That's more like it. Yeah, imagine this element. Top hat, downward vertical twist. Need to kind of avoid the rocks though. Oh, sorry, much message that I missed. Yeah, so let me know what review you want me to make next, because there's several ones I can actually do, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to actually do next. Because, yeah, life's gotten complicated recently as well. In a good way, but also in bad ways too. So, there's a lot going on, but I'd say start planning my next trip. Okay, this ride's getting a bit ridiculous. So ridiculous, in fact, that I think we're going to have some sort of really silly near vertical launch to get back up the hill here, which could be fun. So we need to extend this a bit more because that's going to be a lot of G-force to slow down. I think we can only have LSMs going. Yes. Is this going to work is the question. Now, this ride is getting a bit on the ridiculous side, but hey, when it comes to coasters, ridiculous can be fun. Kind of feel probably the ride forces it a bit too much for this ride, but will these LSMs push it up? A bit too much, actually. Yes. I need to make these less acceleratory. Acceleratory, that's a new word. What was say? One more inversion? Why not? Well, the Minecraft coming to Chessington World of Adventures. I gotta be honest, Minecraft is never a game that I've really gotten into. I think maybe it was like the generation after mine. So I not really got that much of a attachment to Minecraft. I know it's like a hugely popular IP, so it could be good for Chessington, but I mean, they've already got Jumanji, and have they done that much with it? The coaster they got for it is okay, but I mean, it was right there going for a quad bike coaster like Jubilee rather than their B&M wing coaster that has awful capacity and isn't very good. So who knows what they'll do with the Minecraft IP? Hopefully something good, but remains to be seen. Also, I'm loving how ridiculous this coaster is getting. Because if you can't have silly overbanks, what can you have? Minecraft is great, apparently. Supposedly it is, if you're into it. I mean, I played it, but I never really was like, wow, this is the most amazing game ever. I was like, it's alright. But hey, different people like different games, and that's absolutely fine. Some people don't even like coasters, and I mean, we know they're weird. Okay, I think that'll just about do us for this coaster. Alright, we have our map spinning coaster. Shall we ride it? Because I think it looks quite silly and awesome. Would you ride this coaster? Let me know. Okay, maybe a bit too crazy. But hey, you gotta love some of these elements. Eat your heart out, ride to happiness. Okay, this may be the ride to death rather than the ride to happiness, but yeah, I think it's cool. Might need a bit of tweaking to make sure no one dies when they ride it. Okay, how do we think the ride statistics for this are going to be? What are they going to come in at? Hey, it's very exciting, pretty scary, surprisingly not that nauseous. Hey, I'll take it. It needs some tweaking, I think, but let's give it a name. As from what it's partly inspired by, we are, of course, going to call this with the right colours. Les bien banana for a French ride. That's our water park for now, though. Fake stats? They're totally not fake. Nausea is not off the charts, and there's no rattle whatsoever. Stats are legit. I mean, it only pulls 7.8 G with 3.5 lateral G. Hey, minus 1.6-ish vertical G, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, 7G isn't that bad, surely. I think people may even ride it. Libya and banana. I think on that note, it's currently midnight now, and I've been streaming for ooh, over 2.5 hours. So, but tonight, we'll call it a park for now. I may stream again tomorrow if I find time, because there's still much more that can be done to help Team Water and raise awareness for this awesome cause. If you want to donate, go to teamwater.org, or you can use the link I put in the description, and you can request a ride that if people donate, then I will stream again tomorrow, and build what you request. But now it is getting late here, so I'm going to call it a day or a night. Thanks so much for watching. I've been Rollercoaster David, and I'll see you again in another video very soon.